Testing, testing. Oh. Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Neighborhood Ambassador Citizens Academy. We are here for week 9 with only 2 remaining sessions left. So in regards to housekeeping, we have light snacks and refreshments in the back of the room. And then in regards to the restrooms, if you get out of this room through the 2 double doors, take a left, the restrooms will be located there. As a friendly reminder, please silence your phones during the sessions. Thank you. Today we will be hearing from our Sports and Leisure Department. So we would like to turn it over to Allison Manatee and give her a warm welcome. So thank you.
Good morning. Oh, goodness. So my name's Allison. I'm the Recreation Division Manager for Sports and Leisure. We're jumping right in. So Sports and Leisure, I'm going to say, I'll start by saying this department kind of had a little bit of identity crisis for a little while, but we've landed on 3 divisions that really make a lot of sense together. And I think we're going to stay strong with these departments and all public-facing, public service. We've got, I'll go through it, but we've got recreation, community engagement, and libraries that we're going to discuss today. Agenda, introduction. Kind of did that already. We're going to go through the recreation division updates, some of the community engagement updates, and then library updates. And then I believe you have a nice little tour of this amazing facility. So I'm a loud talker. I'm trying to keep this away from me because I don't even know if I need a mic, to be honest with you. So I'm going to read this off the screen just because there's a little glare on that one, but I'm going to read our mission and vision, which is going to be a beautiful word salad for some of you, and then I'm going to break it down, okay? So our mission within Sports and Leisure. Sports and Leisure Services provides access to recreational and educational opportunities while remaining responsible stewards of valuable natural, historic, and cultural resources. This department's prime focus is contributing to the overall wellness and prosperity of Manatee County residents and visitors. So what does that mean? That means, we're going to break that down. We provide access to recreation, outdoor, getting you engaged with our lands, our parks, preserves, and all the beauty that we have within Manatee County. But we also have the historical and educational factors, and the outside as well as indoors with the libraries, right? So that's our focus, bringing all of that to you with no fee to low fee engagement. Our vision is, how do we do that? How do we accomplish that, right? So our vision is creating and maintaining a sustainable parks and library system where visitors can feel connected to our natural lands and community. Our department is guided on these basic principles: offering excellence in community customer service for those high-quality park and library visits, safeguarding our natural resources while balancing public access to recreation, and placing well-being and human health as a centerpiece of our mission. All right, it's a beautiful statement, right? So basically, just following within lines with the mission, how we achieve that mission of wellness and integration and engagement is by our sustainable parks and library system and providing that opportunity for access. Our operation is vast, so offering services ranging from indoor programming at our recreation facilities and libraries to competitions and events at our athletic complexes and community parks. The events team leads our mission for community connectedness with our signature events, community events, and our permitting requests. Substantial revenue is generated through several public-private partnerships that Manatee County brings you. For example, our 2 full 18 golf courses. So we have what that means is we have a vendor, another organization that we work with that helps run that large operation for us on our property. We have the same kind of relationship with our Coquina Beach Market. Has anyone been out to the beach market? It's far from here. It's on the other side. So we have a kind of an event space out there, and 3 days a week we host a farmer's market and bring local vendors, and you can go and shop and support their efforts and then enjoy a beautiful beach. We have also a relationship with the vendor that does our concessions. And that brings in a good substantial amount of revenue for us so that we can offer things at those low fees for access for general public and visitors. So with over nearly 40 parks and 7 libraries around the county, and more are in development, Sports and Leisure strives to meet the ever-growing levels of service needs to all the members in this community. So the level of service, just really, if you're not familiar with that term, that's just the growing population and the demand that is needed to accommodate the growing population. All right, so Sports and Leisure, as I mentioned earlier, is divided into 3 public-facing, public-serving divisions. Recreation, which I am very happily a part of. Events and community engagement, that's where you see a lot of our big events, like our signature events. I don't know if anyone has ever been out to GT Bray and been to any of like the signature events out there. We have the Goblin Gathering, our family fun nights. We have a night before Christmas. And then just recently, when we opened a park over here in Parrish, we did a music series. It's going to become a signature event, meaning it's going to happen annually. So really large scale, drawing the community together. And then the library division, which after I'm done speaking, Miss Tammy Parrott will give you much more information on. So right now, I'm going to play a video. And then I might need help figuring out how to play it. I'm not sure. I'm technologically not savvy. However, that's why Laura's here. So this video was a work in the making while we kind of figure out what divisions were going to fall under Sports and Leisure while we were kind of reorganizing. But it is meant to be one of our recruitment tools, but it also gives you a really good overview of all the services we do here. So don't look at me when I appear speaking on this, please.
In the community where you live and work, Manatee County Sports and Leisure Services brings the play. Sports and Leisure Services is at the heart of recreation in Manatee County, managing over 100 facilities, hosting leagues, camps, and programs for all ages. We offer affordable summer childcare and bring the community together with events and celebrations that showcase everything our county has to offer.
GT Bray has long been the centerpiece of our recreation operations, offering something for everyone. Whether it's our renovated fitness center with 70 weekly classes, the Racket Center, 5 playgrounds, an aquatic center, a disc golf course, or 17 fields for all kinds of play. Our recreation team is here to help, serving you as your first point of contact to find your favorite park amenities and registering for programs.
Reopened in February 2025, the John Marvel Recreation Center expands indoor athletic space and youth programming to meet the growing demand. This facility features a 2-court gymnasium, a fitness center, 3 large multi-purpose rooms for seminars, meetings, and birthday parties, and a brand new aquatic center, bringing some of the best features of GT Bray out east.
Welcome to the CV Walton Racket Center, ranked among Florida's top 4 pickleball facilities and top 25 in the country. We offer lessons, leagues, and tournaments on 8 clay tennis courts and 20 pickleball courts, 14 of which are shaded. Our tournaments have significant economic impact, and our team takes pride in maintaining top-notch facilities.
The Athletics Division provides year-round in-house sports programming, including youth and adult basketball, adult kickball, flag football, and softball. Additionally, we facilitate field reservations for over 100 different leagues, travel teams, school enrichment programs, and more. Our sports complexes around the county accommodate over 500,000 visitors a year, serving over 60,000 hours of scheduled field play. This team hits the ball out of the park.
Youth Camps offers exciting summer and holiday programs for elementary age kids. Manatee County made it a priority to offer competitive wages, attracting top talent to lead our camps. This team focuses on helping campers create lifelong memories through exciting field trips, arts, crafts, reading, and STEM activities.
Our library team enriches the lives of Manatee County residents with welcoming spaces and a wealth of resources for all ages. From career support, tech access, and engaging programs, our librarians foster a lifelong love of reading and learning. Patrons can connect with reliable information, discover new books, and join activities that inspire and strengthen our community.
Manatee County's community engagement team crafts unforgettable experiences, from intimate gatherings like weddings on our stunning beaches to signature events that bring together thousands of residents. From planning to execution, we ensure every event is a memorable celebration for all involved.
Sports and Leisure Services is committed to serving our growing community. We are investing in parks by upgrading athletic fields and expanding opportunities in gymnasiums, racket sports, and aquatic facilities. Because your family's health and well-being matter, and every neighborhood deserves a place to play, grow, and connect.
It's the first time I played that for anybody. Oh, how to get past this? There we go. Okay. So that just gives you a really good synopsis of what we provide or what we strive to provide at Sports and Leisure. So this map kind of gives you an overview, and I have to caveat it with probably needs a tiny bit of updating at this point. We had to hand these in for the presentation quite a while ago, but the yellow little points are our community parks, and those are the ones that I would consider non-programmed. You come and use at your own leisure. You'll find mostly there walking trails, a playground, basketball courts, things of that nature. And then we have 7 sports complexes around the county, and that's where we have our athletic fields on top of it, and that's where we can get some of the economic impact, where we drive some renters, especially tournaments coming into and using our fields. The biggest one in this area, Lakewood Ranch. If you've been to Lakewood Ranch Park, we've got 20 fields over there. 10 of them are soccer. Then we've got softball complex. We've got a baseball complex, 8 tennis courts, and 6 pickleball courts. So it is a lively, lively park just next to the high school. And then we have, it says 4 under development, but 1 has since opened. That would be John Marble. So John Marble, it can still say purple. It actually kind of needs to be like lavender because it's almost entirely open. The facility, the indoor facility has been opened. We have our double gymnasium in there, and that is on State Road 70. If you don't know where that is, that's it. It's on State Road 70, just west of Lockwood Ridge. So, and it has the double gymnasium, it's got a fitness center. We've got 3 very large multi-purpose rooms. So you can rent one out for birthday parties, you can have seminars. We host our group fitness classes in there. The pool is under renovation. So that's gonna be redone, and that one, once that is open, the entire facility will be completed. I'll get into a couple others on another slide of the new ones that are coming under development, so I can spend a little more time on them, but you probably saw one under development as you were driving in. Did you notice the construction? That is your premier, it's gonna be the Athletics and Aquatics Center at Premier North, right next to the library. And that's gonna be the pool that everyone knows about, the Olympic-sized pool, the therapy pool, and the new 24 pickleball courts that will be over here. So basically, what I've been saying with some of these new under development is, you heard me say it on the video, GT Bray has long been the central hub of all our recreation. So we're kind of just picking up elements of GT Bray, because it has everything you could possibly ever need, picking up the best of Bray and shifting it out east and north as much as we can. We can't pick up Bray in its entirety and plop it anywhere, but we can take the Walton Center, the pickleball courts, and bring it out to east to you guys over here in Lakewood Ranch. We picked up the fitness center and the aquatic center, basically, and said, let's make that central in John Marble. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to do, just spread them out to be more equitable for everyone to enjoy. And then also, you see the blue, and those are our 7 libraries that we have scattered throughout the county. All right, so the Recreation Division. Just as an overview, we have 34 operational parks with, like I said, 3.5 more in development. Of those 38 parks, we have 8 that I consider programming, and that would be the ones that we have the athletic complexes at, plus Parish Community Park. We're going to throw Parish in there because Parish will host a lot of events. Did anyone go to the Parish Community Park yet? That's an amazing park. I'm going to have a picture of it in a little bit. So we have this gigantic pavilion over turf that gives you complete view into a stage, an amphitheater. And we host live music there. We're going to host movie nights there, food truck rallies, real community togetherness type of feel for the new upcoming, very population growing parish community. So that's what we host there. We host things like athletics, camps, fitness, and then events at these program parks. All right, so the athletics division, let's start there. Mentioned a little bit about it, just to give you kind of the scope of how much this department or this division handles. So in 2024, over 60,000 hours of scheduled play happened on our 7 athletic complexes, which incorporate about 75 athletic fields across the county. We have partnerships with 22 affiliated leagues. So what's an affiliated league? An affiliated league is a local league, recreation level, that creates a partnership with us and then kind of claims one of these parks as their home field. And they basically just get priority scheduling. Like, for example, Lakewood Ranch. You would see Lakewood Ranch Little League would have priority scheduling at that park, and then we fit in other users around that. Try to be as equitable and as fair as we can. We keep certain days open, hopefully for travel teams and things of that nature, but they are priority. Next to the schools also. Schools get priority with us as well. Buffalo Creek, that's where you got your Storm football team. That's their home field. Things like that. Let's see, recreation. So the youth, let me go back to the one thing about the athletics, just in terms of staffing. So we have about 3 or 4 staff that manage all of this scheduling. We've got a manager, his name is Marcus, he was on that video. And then he has 2 people who work with him, help with the scheduling on all of this big puzzle that they put together. But then, on top of that, they also manage what we have, park attendants. And those are the feet on the ground, dealing with all of the public on a daily basis. So you might see them in orange shirts if you're walking around the parks in the evenings. They work 2 to 10. And the reason is, that's when the parks are the busiest, right? 2 to 10, and then on the weekends. And they help facilitate all of the programming that goes on there. So they'll open the facilities for all the users. If there's any troubleshooting that needs to happen because, let's say, oh my goodness, the scoreboard's not working, or the lights aren't coming on and they should, they are like feet on the ground to help immediately with that and escalate it if needed to be. And in an emergency situation or an incident situation, they are on site as well. They have cell phones, and all of our park signs are being updated, which I'm going to show you as well, with their phone number contacts. So if you ever need to find a park attendant, we call them a PA, they can be there almost immediately. Staying with recreation, we've got our youth camps. That was Amy that you saw in the video. She is our camp director. She spends all year planning for summer. And it does take, it's amazing, because they're a 10-week camp, and just to coordinate all the different field trips. So within camp, every camper who signs up goes on at least 1 field trip a week. It's included in the fee. But then there's these additional field trips that you can take for an additional fee with smaller groups, but they tend to be farther away, might be Busch Gardens, for example, a little bit more of a commitment. But to coordinate the transportation, the working with the vendors, and then she was a former teacher for 25 years, science, so she loves to come up with STEM activities. And she spends a lot of time developing her summer curriculum. So during the summer, we have 2 locations. John Marble, now that we have it open again, it was the home of it, is now reopened as the new home again. And GT Bray as the West Campus. We hire roughly 40 additional what's called OPS, temporary seasonal employees, to help us run our camps. And it's a real priority for us to help working parents find a structured, safe, engaging location for their kids to spend all summer while they're at work. Like I said, they have the trips. We also offer holiday camps. So during Thanksgiving, even though it's only 3 days, we offer those 3 days. And then we have the 2 weeks off from Christmas and New Year's, spring break camp as well. All right, so this year, this is new for us. The Children's Services Advisory Board, we applied for a grant, and we were awarded it, to help fund scholarships for some of the families that have financial obstacles to afford a 10-week camp. So our fee, it's low in the world of camps, but it's $150 a week. Times 10 for a parent might be a lot, times 2 or 3 kids might be out of reach, right? So we developed a summer program, and what we've done is you have to have a 1040, a 10-text summary that shows that you qualify based on the 200% of poverty level. You have to prove that you're a Manatee County resident, and you have to you have to agree to the stipulations, and that's attendance. And then we have goals and priorities that align with, I'm going to abbreviate it, the CSAB, the Children's Advisory Board, and that is learning swimming and keeping up with summer reading. So we have also another grant, the Patterson Foundation, that we work with. So we already have a reading program to mitigate the summer slide. So we kind of keep track of that and make sure everyone's staying on reading level. And then we do offer, we have a reading lead at both locations, by the way, at these camps. And those reading leads will find time for those who are not looking like they're reading at their grade level and give them extra help to help them stay on target. Public safety actually manages the pools, and they have a swim test. And you could be red, yellow, or green. And if you are red, that means you can't really go in the deep end. You might have to stay on the ladders. We don't want that. So we have 2 staff now that are water safety instructors. And they are certified to get in the pool and teach them to feel comfortable, confident, and our goal is to have all 50 kids that are, we have 50 spots, by the way, for our scholarship, all 50 kids be green by the end of the summer. We are moving right along, by the way. We're doing pretty good with this. We had a lot more reds than we thought we would, to be honest, but we are doing really well with that. We're moving them up the chain from yellow to green, so it's been really successful so far, yeah, so it's been a lot of organization and tracking, because grants are that such, but it's been well worth it. So, recreation centers. We have 2. We had 1 for the longest time, and now we have 2. So, GT Bray is our West County central hub of our operations, and it has everything. I'm going to read it off of this. It's just easier for me to see it. So, full recreation center with a fitness center. You heard me say this all on the video, by the way. A recreation center, a fitness center and aquatics facility, a full court gymnasium, the racket center, the CV Walton Racket Center. That's where we have our 20 pickleball courts, 14 of which are covered, and we have 8 clay courts on top of that. Then there are 17 additional athletic fields surrounding the vast acreage, and we have a full 18-hole golf disc course. We have our dog park, the first dog park in all of Manatee County, by the way. It was Happy Paws a long time ago, and then it switched to the Lori Crawford dog park. And then we have our amphitheater on what we call the 51st Street side of GT Bray, and that's where we host a lot of events too. So our Goblin Gathering, if you've never been, it's really cool because it gets dark, at night, and there's all these trees and stuff, and we light it up. We decorate it ourselves, by the way, our staff. Yeah, we do it ourselves. The whole day of the event, leading up to the event, we're putting lights and witches and goblins and everything out, set up the stage. We have music playing. We have, lots of food vendors. It's a good time, and it's a free event. So the only thing that we charge for is some of the things that we bring in, other vendors, like we have bounce houses, and you might pay a couple dollars to get a wristband to do the face painting, the bounce houses, and I think we have a petting zoo. So that's what happens over at GT Bray. John Marble is more mid-county. We're trying to, again, shift some of the beautiful amenities we have out west, a little bit more mid and east. So it's a mid-county location offering 2-court gymnasium. So that's 2 full basketball courts. It's a very large space for us to host indoor athletics. Being that we are living in Florida, the indoor need for air-conditioned space for these athletics is crucial. Can't always be outside. We have an aquatic center, but it's still under construction, full fitness center with group exercise classes, and 3 large multi-purpose rooms that can be reserved for a variety of things. And the cool thing about this is memberships are reciprocal. So if you are a GT Bray member, you can automatically go to John Marble and vice versa. And when Premier opens, same thing. So if you are a GT Bray member or a John Marble member, you'll be able to swipe your same key tag and come use the pickleball courts here. So all reciprocal. All right, so I'm going to talk about the newly completed, see I did it better on this slide, the newly completed and in progress parks. You can see, where we have trying to come out east a little bit and give a little bit more love to the growing side of the community, which is out this side. So we have Parish Community Park, which is on Fort Hamer Road out towards Erie Road. So if you're familiar with the area, that's where it is. Like, it's literally right before North River Ranch. People from North River Ranch literally drive their golf carts over. That's how close they are to Parish Community Park. And again, I have slides of these, so I will go through them. Hidden Harbor is under construction now. So if you go over the Fort Hammer Bridge ever, you've seen like large piles of dirt on one side. I'll explain the dirt. That wasn't for the park. Although we have repurposed some of it to use for the sand volleyball courts that will be there. That was actually from Hurricane Helene. And some of the more, trying to repurpose the sand, they took it out to Hidden Harbor, kind of filtered it, and brought some back to the beach or repurposed it elsewhere. So we didn't lose all that sand that kind of got trashed a little bit during the hurricane. Then we have John Marble down on State Road 70. I just went over all that. Premier Sports Complex coming right next door to this one. And then I'll talk a little bit about Country Club East as well. I think I have a slide for that too. I'm not sure, but if I don't, I will talk about it. All right, so Parish Community Park. So this is an aerial view of the rendering of it, but this is the large pavilion that I was speaking about. You can fit, standing, 1,800 people in there. It's a huge pavilion. You can rent out spaces within it. We don't typically rent out the entire thing for people because we don't like to close down parks, but we've had areas blocked off where people have been running small little camps. Right after we opened, F45 was using it for a place before they opened up in Parish, and every Saturday they would have a little boot camp going on underneath there, for example. It has a splash pad. It is exceptionally popular park. I don't know if anyone's been there during the day. I went over there during the day just to check things out one day, and I was floored with how many people were there in the middle of a day. And I believe school was still in session. So I think a lot of homeschool families go there during the day. It has a really nice playground adjacent to the splash pad, the amphitheater, and a boardwalk. It's a small boardwalk that kind of just goes through. But this is where a lot of community events will happen. So it's a really fun park. It's a beautiful, very modern park. So they just finished the 3-month music series. It was March, April, and May. So look for a movie series happening during the cooler months, or think in October, November, December. They'll be hosting that. There'll be food trucks and yard games and then big movie screen. So that kind of stuff is going to be happening there. John Marble. So sad because it really is a beautiful facility and you can't really get all of the beauty that's happening with it yet because it's still kind of under construction. I went through this already, but just again, we've got our complete renovation hopefully coming by next summer with the pool. But we have, it's a really modern facility, really sleek looking if you've never been in there. The double gymnasium, we host things like drop-in pickleball, drop-in basketball, and then we rent out to clinics. We have Pickleball Pete. Literally, his name is Pete, and his name is Pickleball Pete. He's his little clinics, and you can sign up and learn pickleball with him. We have Elite Volleyball uses it a lot at night, but we also have it set up for drop-in volleyball for anyone who just wants to come in and play. So there's a lot of opportunity for both structured and unstructured play. Premier Athletics and Aquatic Center. So this is where we're going to have those 24 pickleball courts. This is the structure up in the corner here. Again, 14 will be covered, 10 will be out in the sun. The way that works, by the way, if we're going to run it the same way we do GT Bray, we will always have drop-in courts available, and it's what's called a paddle system if you're a pickleballer. I am not, but you put your paddle in this little slot, and it goes down the line as you come in next to go in. You grab your paddle and get onto the court and play with whomever is still on the court, and just kind of rotates that way. And then we'll have courts that are for reservation, that you can secure a court prior to and go enjoy. There will be the 50-meter Olympic pool, hoping to attract a lot of tournaments and collegiate type of level swim events. Definitely high school, definitely districts and states and hopefully that kind of stuff, and then even higher. And then you'll see this over here. This is what they call a therapy pool. Swim lessons, group fitness classes, possibly, things like that nature will happen in that smaller size pool. That target date, sometime in 2026. Can't give you a solid date, but I'm hoping summer-ish of 2026. Hidden Harbor. So this is the one that, sand, big piles of sand. It's coming to substantial completion very soon. We're gonna be opening this one in September. So what's unique about this one is this device down here at the bottom. It's gonna be our first pump track. If you don't know what a pump track is, it's kind of a skateboard track for bikes. So you'll be able to take your child or grandchild or yourself and ride a bike through all this kind of like different, paths and inclines and different terrains. It's kind of cool. So that one is actually completely done, and it has been very hard to keep kids off of it now, I'll be honest with you, but we are trying our best. There's a walking trail there, sand volleyball courts, a playground. And what's interesting about this one is this is what's called an FCT grant park. So this was another one that's funded by a grant. But with that grants always come with stipulations, which is keep us in check, right? So part of the grant will be to provide education about the environment. So there will be a preserve also built further back beyond the park. There will be a preserve, and then there will be educational opportunities within that area of Hidden Harbor. That's coming down the road. But the park part is opening in September. Tom Bennett, this park is a community park because we don't have a lot of programming there, but we are trying to activate it a lot more. It is a fantastic park. Has anyone been to Tom Bennett? Tom Bennett's a great park. It's one of my favorite parks. So this big green playground here was open last April. It was a $780,000 donation from the Bradenton Kiwanis Club. It is our destination playground that is inclusive. So you can see, it's inclusive, you can tell by all the ramps that connect things. So anyone of any ability will be able to access the majority of everything on here. We also have a lot of sensory devices as you go up the ramps, and then separate from the structure itself, we've got ADA compliant swings and ADA wheelchair accessible merry-go-round. So it was a really, really great grand opening when we partnered with Kiwanis and Easter Seals and did the entire event. It was wonderful. Just on the other side of the pavilion, adjacent to this, will be the accessible splash pad. That should be open next month, just in time for the kids to go back to school. We tried. It was a permitting thing. We did try. Sometimes things with permits slow things down, but it is coming, so that will be there. We also hosted our first Run Manatee event at this park. So that's another signature event that we just launched this year. Run Manatee, which I'll get to when I get a little bit more into the events team. This is a vision of the division manager, her name is Crystal, of doing a 5K race in various different locations and making one a park, a beach, and a preserve. So you get to see a little bit of everything as you do the 5K. Again, aligning with our mission of overall wellness and health and getting connected to our natural lands. Run Manatee is one of the most perfect events ever created for what our mission is. But Run Manatee happened in April 12th. 300 registrants, sold out. And we also do a fun run and usually have a yoga, and then, believe it or not, we have a beer tent. Makes more sense for the one that's happening tomorrow at Coquina because it's at night. This finished at 9 o'clock in the morning. Some people were in there, not me, but that's too early. But it was a really good event, really good time. And then the third one, which I will also get to again, is happening in Rye Preserve in November. Okay, so Buffalo Creek. We're doing a soccer expansion. So talking about levels of service needs, the growing population in Parrish is just exponential. And the demand for play and having a place for their kids to play, especially soccer and baseball, is just not slowing down. So we have secured some land beyond Buffalo Creek to build additional soccer fields. And that is in design. Hopefully we'll begin construction late 2025. We'll see, it might be more like 2026. But we are adding, hopefully at least 4 more soccer fields, 2 of which will potentially be artificial turf. So that will also increase play. So if you've been around here a long time, if you have kids that play sports regularly, you may know that right now we're in it. We shut down our fields in the summer for them to rest and restore. Natural turf grass takes a beating with all the play, 60,000 hours of play with cleats, tackle football. It can do some damage on the field, so we have to resod and let it kind of regrow for the start of the next season in the fall. Turf comes with a little bit of a price tag, but it mitigates that, and we can allow for play to continue all year round. So we're going to try to sprinkle turf where we can, but it will be the answer to, the increased competitiveness, even just in recreation, to keep that play level going. So that's Buffalo Creek. East Bradenton. So East Bradenton, this is a park behind Tropicana. Right now, it's kind of a sad-looking field. Right now, it is a community park, meaning we don't program anything there, but we do have a regular user, the football team, the Broncos. And God bless them, they do what they can on this field, but it gets torn up. So we are renovating this one. The pool has been out of function for a very long time. So it's come to the decision to remove the pool and build another splash pad and make an artificial turf field. This one is also in design, and this will become, something that we can program as well, and host games and tournaments on a regulation-sized football field. This would be a really good boost for this community as well. So bring in an enhanced park over there. New signage. I don't have a slide for it, but it was on my other thing. So Country Club East is another one that's coming up. Just to answer, I said we needed more soccer fields. We also need more baseball fields. So there might be some, it's again in design, but a couple, to make better use of the Country Club East Park, we're trying to add a couple Little League fields in there. But I don't have a picture of that one. I don't have a rendering of that one yet. All right, so one of the things that we wanted to do, we've been working on for quite a while now, is once you get into a park, to know where to go, the best place for you to park, because people park the first place they get in, and they're like, oh gosh, my amenity is like all the way over there. This is not the place to park. And it just becomes problematic, especially when we have visitors and regular users. There's like chaos in the parking lots. If you've ever been to Buffalo Creek on a Saturday, you know what I'm talking about. Once you enter the drive, we wanted to find a way to design wayfinders. So it tells you where to park best for the amenity that you are there for. I really fell in love with the design of these. So anyway, but this is them. So this one is, I think this is definitely Blackstone. Okay, so this is Blackstone Park. So when you pull into the Blackstone parking lot, it's telling you to, turn immediately right here if you want to park for softball and for volleyball and for the playground and the skate park, but go straight if you're looking for soccer, that kind of stuff. And it gives you an idea of where to go. Let's say you're a parent and you're taking your kid to the soccer game. You're like, I know I'm supposed to be on soccer field 1. Which one is 1? Well, we designed pole flags. These sit up high in our Musco lighting systems. So from the distance, you can see exactly where field 1 is now. Just the little things to make navigating our very large parks a little easier. And this was the last one we just finally finished. And this was a big one because we actually had to design these. God bless Marcus, because he knows the parks better than anybody in the world. He's been doing this for 18 years. He was able to work with a vendor, and he actually put all this together, and then they kind of took the cartoon-ish look and amplified it, but the layout was all him. And if you go into one of our parks, when you enter the complex, you will be able to see where things are laid out. So it came out really well. What you'll also see on this side, this is more of our kind of what we're gonna be doing with our rules signs and some of our more lower, smaller community parks, and just tells you what's allowed and what's not allowed, and pay attention to the rules, keep your dog on a leash. We love dogs, but keep them on a leash. If you are a member, we upscaled some things, and we finally got what's called the WebTrack app. WebTrack is how you signed up online for any of our programming, and now we've kind of given it to you on the go in an app. You can scan this QR code if you happen to be a GT Brain member. It is not as helpful to you if you're not a member. But this is how a lot of people sign up for their youth camp programming. This is how they sign up to renew their memberships and things of that, sign up for group fitness classes. Again, we have 70 of them at GT Bray, and they are serious, those members, about getting into their classes. So it is a big deal. All right, so that's recreation. I can pause here if you have questions about recreation before I move on. Yep. I think you had your hand up. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, do you have bike riding lanes in any of the parks?
In any of the parks bike riding lanes? No, but we have a lot of paths that people do use their bikes on. So we have paved asphalt paths at several. GT Bray, Buffalo Creek, what else would have a long path? Tom Bennett. And people ride their bikes on them all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then the other question was about membership. Is there a fee to become a member to any of these parks?
To the parks? No. The recreation centers, yes. No, all the parks you can go into at any time. They are yours to enjoy. The recreation centers have varying levels of fees, so I can give you an idea. To just drop in and come into GT Bray or John Marble, it's $3. That's it, $3 to come and use our fitness center. It would be $5, though, to access the pickleball courts. That's your drop-in fee for pickleball. Or you can pay $25 a month to have access to the basic fitness amenities, and it would be $35 a month to include group fitness classes and pickleball. So if you come more regularly, it makes more sense to be a member. But if you're just dropping in here and there, that's an option for you too. We're very non-committal, everything's monthly. So you get to choose, and it's from the day you start. You don't have to worry about, oh gosh, I have to prorate this. No, it's if you sign up today, it goes through the 11th of the following month. So, and we can keep you up to date. Just when you check in and stuff, we'll let you know.
Yeah, my one minor announcement, sorry. The slides have been updated, so there may be slides that are not included in your binder, so I just want to let everyone know. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about plans for track and field? Because they're at the high schools, but not in the community, to host like little league track and field events.
Not that we can't, but yes, we lean on, we have interlocal relationships with the school board, so they use our fields, and then hopefully we can use their amenities. So if we were to host something, we would probably approach a school and say, hey, would we be able to use this for one of our events instead of kind of like building our own. But not that it couldn't happen, but that's why that relationship exists, so we don't have to duplicate. Yep.
So for the therapy pool at the premiere, is that, I'm looking at the rendering and I can't see a lot of detail, but will that actually have like the lifts to help people access the pool?
It should. I can double check on that for you, but it should. The accessibility has been, it's there. I want to make sure it's for the therapy pool and not just for the other pool, but I imagine it would be for both. But I will find that out for you. Yeah, because when it's not being used as a competition pool, it can be used for something else.
Sitting here trying not to say anything, but I wanted to ask who or what determines where these beautiful facilities go, because there's other communities that could use facilities that I'm looking at on the screen and they're not there. So who or, like I said, who or what determines where these nice facilities go?
Well, there's needs assessments that we try to get, and then anyone from the community can absolutely always come to us and their commissioner and request that something be looked into. So if you want to speak to me after the presentation, I'm happy to hear which district or what location you're thinking of that might be a gap, and we can talk about that. Mm-hmm.
Have you added accessibility to any of the signage? Like, you know, if you're walking up to get this, like, I'm assuming, what I think I understand is this Blackstone part. It looks like something that would be at like the parking lot, like the main entrance or something, for people to see what's there. Mm-hmm. Would it have any options for the, like, visually impaired?
Well, it's accessible in terms of size of font. We have not added Braille yet to it, if that's your question. We can look into that. You know, there's ways to improve and always grow and do better.
Yeah, I don't know what the need would be, and I know you're doing a needs assessment now on that. But
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, I'll get to stuff with adaptiveness. It's a major focus for us that we have established in the world of recreation, that we could do more and do better. But I'll get to that. It's actually my last slide that we're going to talk about. Any other questions on recreation before I dive into community engagement? It's not too long, community engagement. Okay, so community engagement. So again, connectedness, bringing things together. They are responsible for the ceremonies, anything worth celebrating. So when we open Hidden Harbor, there will be a ribbon cutting, there'll be like, a little bit of a moment, and they coordinate all that to let you guys know that something has been accomplished and now this is accessible and for you guys to use. They put together our community events. I mentioned the Manatee Music Series, Run Manatee, the night before Christmas, the Goblin Gathering. And there is actually a survey coming out very soon. Crystal really wants to know what kind of events you want to see, not just what she thinks of. So when you see that coming out, I'm not exactly sure of the exact date, it will be coming out. Take the survey, and it's about like how far are you willing to travel to a park? What types of events are you most interested in? And accessibility questions as well. So, and one of the other things we do is permitting, and that's giving you permission to use our public lands for your personal use or your business. And that could look like a wedding, for example, on Coquina Beach. It could just be a large event, a birthday party that just kind of outgrows the size of the pavilion you're trying to use, and then it becomes a special event, which would need a permit, or if you wanted to use a bounce house, for example, that kind of stuff. We roughly do 250 permits a year to use our park lands. So it's a busy department. I went over Run Manatee, so I'm not going to take up too much more of this, but there are some spots open for the Rye one, Rye Preserve. Coquina is sold out. It's tomorrow night. We already missed the chance to do April, right? So if you wanted to do one of these this year, it will be November 22nd at Rye Preserve. Rye Preserve is off of Rye Road. Really pretty preserve, actually. My son did his archery camp there through Natural Resources. Really cool little preserve. I'd like to walk my dogs there too. But what's cool about this race, and they're going to do it again next year, the medals are magnetic, and when you do all three, it creates the big circular medal. Kind of a nice little touch. I believe she's going to keep the same places next year, because now that they've got a feel for it, and then just add a couple more spots because they know they can manage more people now. They started a little bit lower on 300, and then they're going to grow. But then eventually we'll, take it a little bit more countywide. Premier Sports Campus, another one kind of down the road over here. It's been here for a while. It was under the Visitors Bureau for a while, because it's really more about bringing in large-scale tournaments and economic impact, but it has transitioned over towards us as large-scale events under the events team. So Premier Sports Campus, it's right kind of near close to the post office, right over there. It's got about 22 fields, and we can host very large-scale events over there. It's not necessarily for public use. It is more of that tournament location. But we also host kind of some fun things there. If you've ever been to the Sun Coast Food and Wine Festival, the fruit tree sale, and it's also home to the professional soccer team, Sarasota Paradise. So, all right, so that's the community engagement that I'm going to talk about, and then adapt and play. This is where I'm going to finish. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on it because it's something I'm really passionate about. So, we are, for the first time, hosting an adaptive expo with all the things that we offer within Manatee County as best as we can under one roof. Because one of the things that we really noticed, let me back up. We have an ADA focus group that if you want to become a member of, see me after. And the focus group has been working on bringing all the resources within the community together so people know what they are. And then we're going to put them on the website. Actually, many of them are on the website now under an adaptive page. But even if you don't know that, bringing them all under one roof would be really helpful. So we are working on putting it together now. So the date will be September 6th. It's going to be at John Marble on a Saturday from 11 to 3. So if you know anyone who would have interest in learning more about the adaptive resources that we have, this would be something I would ask you to attend and share. Just to give you an idea of some of the vendors that we are bringing in. We have Manatee County School Board will be there. They will be with their ESC outreach. We learned that there are nearly 10,000 students in Manatee County that have a need for ESC resources or are disabled. That's a big amount, right? And then we have I don't know the number off the top of my head. My summer intern, I'm gonna introduce her. She's been working on stuff with me. But there's a large number of veterans, disabled veterans, that the Manatee County government works with as well. And we're gonna have veteran services there. Transit will be there with their handy bus talking about the transit opportunities for anyone who needs it. And then because I have a recreational flair, we're going to have a lot of different recreational adaptive sports going on. So finding people to lead them has been the biggest obstacle. And then just kind of like out of nowhere, this woman appeared, and she's amazing. And she teaches adaptive pickleball. So she's actually launched a program already at John Marble, and she will be there that day offering free clinics to anyone who wants to come in and learn. We will have someone from Tennis for Fun, which is another organization through the USTA that's grant funded, that they will be there showing how tennis can be fun for anyone of varying abilities. We will have Top Soccer. Top Soccer is soccer for anyone of all different abilities. They actually already use our facilities. They're over at Lakewood Ranch and are using our indoor space at John Marble now. They'll be doing a shooting drill that day. I have solidified a dance instructor to lead different dances that day. We have some other opportunities as well. We have a couple, Beyond the Spectrum will be there with different sensory bins. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember all the lists, but we have a really good, immense list of vendors and exhibitors coming out. We've had some really great discussions with All People's Gym, if you're not familiar with that, in Hillsborough County. It is an entire facility dedicated to everyone of different abilities. And they range from entry-level teaching you all the way up to para-Olympians. Fingers crossed, do not hold me to this, but we are trying to get them to bring their Paralympian wheelchair basketball team down for the day, just so they can do a demo and have a really fun little kind of cool thing happening. The date is just trying to be solidified for them. But we have a lot of really cool things happening that day. So if you are interested, keep that date in mind. One of the things that my intern has been working on, Summer, if you want to wave your hand, she's in the back there. Summer's been working really hard on bringing some of these adaptive features and doing what we can and to improve in our park structures and programming. She helped design a survey. So if you want to take the survey, or if you know someone who would have interest in accessibility, please take the QR code here. It'll bring up the survey. You can take it and then share it. We're trying to get more input from the community. So I would love for you to participate. Even as someone who just has an opinion, please, by all means, share what you would like with us. But we are looking at different ways to enhance our parks, make them more inclusive. Some of them have been here for a really long time and just need more adaptive features. And Summer and I have gone out to all of them, and she's given me some suggestions, feedback on where we can improve. And we've already had meetings with certain vendors to see what type of structures we can replace and enhance to make them more accessible for all children to enjoy here in Manatee County. So it's been a really successful internship, and I'm really proud of the work she's done. So that is where I end. So if you have any questions on any of those things before I hand this over, I'm going to put my slide back up because I did not see anybody get their phone out and take a QR code scan. So if you want to take that survey, please do, or share it with anybody else. And I'll be in the back over there if you have any other questions. Yeah. Yeah, it's just what she was saying, that it's not in there because this was a last-minute ad, because, again, this had to be submitted a lot before we even had our, isn't that a cute logo, by the way? Before we had our logo. So, yeah, that's why that wasn't in there. So, any other questions? Nope, okay. Well, you can grab me if you have any other questions about anything. I think there's a little break coming up before we get into library, so feel free to grab me.
We will be taking a quick 5-minute break for the time being, and then in regards to the presentation, we will send the updated version via email to ensure that everyone has a copy. So thank you. We will reconvene 10:05. Okay, we are back, and we are going to reconvene with the Library Services Division and turn it over to Tammy Parrott, the Division Manager. So let's give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
All right. Left, right, just like it sounds? Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and paying such wonderful attention to everything. Wasn't Allison wonderful? I feel a little bad coming in after her because she's so animated and I'm a little bit boring and bookish. But we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. She's a good support. So my name is Tammy Parrott. I'm the Library Services Manager for Manatee County. I've been here almost 6 years, and during that time I've seen some changes to the library system and to the county. So we're not afraid of change and shifting things around. So if you have any questions about things that have happened or you'd like to see happen, stop me and let's talk about it. Okay? All right, so we do, of course, we are part of Sports and Leisure Services, and there is a mission vision statement for Sports and Leisure Services. Libraries generally have their own mission vision statement and value statements, and this is ours. This is relatively new. We were very excited to go through a strategic planning process with our library foundation. We did send out some surveys to everyone on our email list, and yes, you're nodding, so some of you may have filled out the survey, and if so, thank you. We had really phenomenal results from the survey, but we listen to feedback all the time, so if you have thoughts, again, just give us a call. And one thing we added, we simplified our mission vision, and of course it's not in conflict with anything in sports and leisure services. But we wanted to refocus on connection, because that's, think of it, that's what you're doing here. You're in a library building, but you're connecting, you're creating community within the community. And we love that. And even just being in a library space to do that helps us fulfill our mission. So thank you for the team being here and bringing you here. We do want to also make sure that we're always putting together a respectful and supportive environment. It is not that, someone said this very well recently, and I really like this, we want library buildings obviously to be welcoming, but we need it to be more than that. You don't feel welcome when you walk home. You walk in the door and it's like, oh, I'm home. This is where I belong. And we want to create that sense of belonging. It's not like you are a welcome guest. Although you are, it's your library and you belong here. So that's one of the values we really want to keep forward with our staff as we work with them and live that every day. Of course, one of the things that's super core to everything libraries do is to create access to materials, ideas, and activities. We very much believe in that as a First Amendment issue, the right to read and the right to access things. So we want to remove barriers as much as we can to access inside and outside of our libraries. You may have noticed that there's some improvements going on to the front area here. The Lakewood Ranch team has the map up on the big screen when you walk in the building, showing that we're creating a little bit more accessibility at the front door. So that is one form of accessibility. The other form of accessibility is audiobooks, large print materials, ebooks even, because you can't always have a printed copy of everything. So we want to create as much access as we can within our budget. within the budget. And I'm not budget shaming because really we're doing a good job. But that is one of our driving values. Creativity, spaces and resources for everyone. And I say that being the move to sports and leisure services has really helped us in this because we feel like we're creative people. Maker spaces, workshops in libraries, all sorts of things. You know, we're, I'm not going to say the go-to, but maybe I will say the go-to about creativity. If you've seen a Storytime person create a 9-week series on meal bugs using toothpicks and, I don't know, saran wrap and bugs she found in the yard, then you know that these are seriously creative people. But one of the things we need to think about is not get stuck in the way we've always done things. And working with Molly and Allison and the rest of the sports and leisure team, and Tiffany Martino, who just snuck in the back door, who has an event management background, we are able to think creatively about how the space is available and using it in new ways. There are libraries in the country where we hold weddings, maybe not us, but where the buildings lend themselves to that. So we don't want to ever say that these things are not library business. We need to decide if it's an appropriate thing or not, and not to do something just because we can, but we need to think outside the boundaries of what libraries have always been. And trust. This is something it starts at home, right? Like, I trust Tiffany, I trust Allison, I trust Summer, everybody here, I trust Debbie. We trust each other, but then we trust you. We trust you to understand what the library means to you and not try and change your mind about that. If the library means a quiet place to go read, yes, that is absolutely, we trust you with that. We'll find a place for that. If the library means that you're going to a kid's room and you're watching 17 3-year-olds running around like maniacs for a little while, that is what the library means to them at that moment, and they'll remember it forever. So we trust everybody, and we know that there's really no wrong way to library because it's a very personal thing. And this is, libraries have often, almost, maybe not exclusively, been tied to education. And we're an ongoing education. I've learned a lot reading fiction, strangely enough. You can learn a lot just through reading. But one of the things we really want to think about is reading for fun. Studies have shown that long-term educational accomplishments are tied to, and success, are tied to not just going to the school, grinding away, graduating from college early, doing all those things that we think of. But success is also tied to understanding that reading for pleasure is part of the world. And it helps you develop empathy and understanding and maybe learn something you wouldn't have studied for. Learned how to pick a lock one time, padlock. But I did not learn that in library school. Although maybe I should have. All right, so my maps are not as nice as Allison's maps, but we do have the Manatee, so that's pretty cute. So we have, how many here have a library card? Oh, you all do? Okay, good. So these are our locations, and this is a little bit, we actually have 2 locations right there. We have our central library, and then we have our little Discovery Center, and that is a 4,000 square foot building where it's focused just on early literacy, and there's early literacy activities. We are hosting story time there that has been at Central because we're still under repairs at Central. But we do have the little Discovery Center right next door, so staff go back and forth between those 2 locations. So those are our places within the community. And you are here, which of course is our newest location. Before that, we had expanded and renovated at Braden River. And the current project at Rocky Bluff, are there any people that use the Rocky Bluff Library here? We are getting ready we're in the design phase right now, but we're getting very close to completing design on an expansion and renovation. Yes, yes, yes. We do. It was when that library was added to the facilities for the library system, it was a terrific move, and it created a library where we really needed one. But the community just keeps growing and growing and growing, and that's amazing. But that location had, not last year, but the year before, the biggest number of summer learning program readers in the county. So that really speaks to growth north of the river. So that is where we are. And we do have, we're not just in our buildings. We go out to the community. We have an outreach team, and they will go anywhere. And I'm not going to get ahead of myself. There's other things they do. So sometimes people don't know how the library is organized. And shockingly, every library is organized a little bit differently. But there's some generalities, and this is how we are organized. We have all of our different locations. In all of these locations, there's someone who manages the building. They're the head librarian. They're the one that makes sure that the carpets are clean, that the building is staffed, that everything is shelved. They do everything, beginning to end, or make sure that it happens. So these are all of our locations. Within our central library, these sections are housed, and these sections have an entire system approach. The circulation team writes the circulation policy and makes sure that's up to date, and everyone is well trained. So when you come up to the desk and you say, I've checked this out twice, can I renew it one more time? They can say yes, because you get 3 renewals, and they all know that. It's not a guess. They don't have to look it up unless it's on hold. This information services reference, that we have a very active reference team, and they will, they service, of course, the public, but they also do internal reference. I know that Deb and her team have used our reference team to get some information on neighborhoods and different parts of the community or history surrounding a building. So they will definitely use that. And that is a service that is entirely open to everybody. We're not trying to gatekeep it, but not everyone knows about this. So yes, we have researchers available for you. And we have a programming team, and in this context, programming means events and library presented events, getting back to story times, things like that, book clubs, creative aging, all of the programs that, have you been to a creative aging?
No, just the concept, I think it's great.
It is. I was just reviewing the programs for the fall, so we have new creative aging series coming up, and also a new lecture series coming up. Leisure learning. So there's more, and so that's the kind of thing that the programming team coordinates. Now, they don't choose necessarily the programming at all locations. Again, that gets back to the branch managers and the team at the location. They have the creativity to bring what the community needs, but this gives them the support to do that, and other kinds of support. We were just talking about 3D printers. We have someone who really is a 3D printer whisperer who works in the programming department, and he will go around and help people at our different maker spaces. Technical services is probably the worst named section in library land, because it has, while there is some technology, definitely, but really it's about bringing in materials, receiving materials, making sure they're shelf ready, and making sure they're cataloged and getting them on the shelf. That's a lot for each one of those books. We get a lot of that work done from the people we buy books from. We buy them from primarily 2 companies, Baker and Taylor and Ingram. And those are probably the 2 biggest ones in vendors that service libraries, but there's others. But you keep adding vendors and you kind of lose efficiency. So we just work with mostly those 2, unless it's some one-off item that we really need that neither one of them carry. But they do the cataloging, the purchasing, the receiving, and they also handle withdrawals. And some of those donations that we get that are really not suitable for the library and the friends don't really want to use in their book sales, they will take care of getting those recycled. We do have a youth services team, and the youth services team is tasked with designing the summer learning program. But again, it's the local team that implements it and their creativity. I was in the youth room here earlier, and it looks very nice, and I hadn't seen it. And this team, who works at Central, would be pretty much useless helping here, decorating. But they are helpful in setting up our Beanstack app and putting together parameters and supporting each other and sending out fill-ins when people are on vacation for youth programming and that kind of thing. The final section, community engagement, which is similar and in alignment with what the community engagement section does within sports and leisure, but it's very, very library oriented. So things that happen within the community engagement team is homebound delivery. Does everyone know that we do that? Yes, so we do homebound delivery for some people who cannot, for one reason or another, get to the library. So, and we also have books by mail, and we do outreach at different events and do speaking engagements and different things. So anything that's really pretty much out of the building goes through here. And again, they run the system-wide calendar because, of course, as a government agency, we keep statistics on everything we do. So they run that kind of statistic. And this is kind of small here, but it deserves an exclamation point. Small because I don't have a ton of detail, but exclamation point because it's very exciting. We're getting a bookmobile in the hopefully the first quarter of the year. We're planning on getting it in January, but the first quarter of 2026, first calendar quarter, is when we will be getting it. And it is a 37-foot bookmobile. It's going to be huge. And it takes one person to drive, probably 2 people to operate, 3 people to operate well, because once you get it there, you open it up, and it does open up, and there's a lift for accessibility, and there's a TV, and there's an awning, and set up the tables, and do story time in the park. It's going to take more than just one person. So this team is growing. We're going to be hiring 4 more people to work in the community engagement department or section starting this fall. So you're going to see a great big bus that says library on it around the community very soon. So we're very, very excited about that. And getting back to the map, you can see that there's some places in the community where we don't really have a presence. And the bookmobile is going to help close that gap. It won't close it entirely, but it's a really cost-effective way to bring library service to parts of the community while we wait our turn in the building queue. The final section is administration, which is me, and Lynn Begraft, who is the Assistant Library Services Manager. Between the two of us, we supervise all these sections, and we have a marketing person, and we have a fiscal team. Well, we have a fiscal team within sports and leisure, but one of those people are embedded in the library offices, which is really nice because we've got those invoices for books and ebooks and things coming through all the time, and they get very fussy about not getting paid, and they won't let you access those books unless we pay for them. All right, so those of you that have library cards are probably very familiar with this. This is the newer version of our catalog, and it's a bit more simplified, but what's really fun is the carousels they have within the catalog. So take a look at that, click around, explore if you haven't already. And we talked about events. This is our events calendar. If you go to our webpage on the county website, or you just go to the front page on the county website and search for events or library, you will get to here. And this is an example of all of the different programs that we have and how to sign up for them. Some of them need to be signed up for and some are just drop in, but you can search by subject, you can search by age, you can search by location, month, day, whatever you want to do. But that is a really nice, interactive, well-presented event system. It was something we implemented a couple years ago. Was it 3 years ago? Maybe 3. It's been a while, but we are pleased with it, and we're still exploring the best way to do it, to use the resource. Okay, this is the newest bit of technology. So we have a library app. And I'm not sure, this has probably been updated. Do you think the handouts are? I don't believe it's in the app. Okay. All right, so all you need to do is go to your app store and look for Manatee Library. So everything the website will do for you, this will do for you, and our website renders really, really well on a mobile device. But the nice thing about using the app is that it's a shortcut to everything because you stay logged in. And you can have your family's accounts in there. And it's just super easy to use, and you can, and this is a nice feature, scan any book's barcode to see if we have it in the library. So if you're at Barnes & Noble just shopping for covers because you're going to go to the library and check it out, you want to see if we have it. So you can scan the barcode and then it tells you if we have it. If we don't have it, which happens, but we want to hear, if it's a book you want us to have, then you can suggest a purchase through in the app. It is an extra step. It takes you, unfortunately, to the website where we have a suggest a purchase box, but that is something that we're hoping to just do within the app. We have a ticket in with the vendor to do that. So this is a lot of fun. And again, if you tap on here, this little thing right there, it will take you to a carousel, and it's so easy to place holds. It's like tap, tap, done. I placed quite a few more holds while at stoplights since we have the app. And this person is not just a hand model. This is actually our chief cataloger, Shanoa, and she was the lead on implementation of the app. So I want to give her a little credit on there. She really worked hard, and the whole team worked hard on it. So these are some things that I want to make sure that we touch on, that you understand that we have, because one of the fun things about being a librarian and working in libraries is that you work with every audience. In a marketing point of view, it's bad because you don't know who to target with your marketing. So we have everything for everybody, and that's really hard to sell, and if we're talking about us as a product. So I'm just going to go through and start talking about things. So the archive lab, who's ever had to or desired to scan old family photographs? Yes, and discovered that it's really expensive to go do that or have someone do it for you. We have an archive lab downtown where you can book time and you have staff there to support you and you do it for free. So, and there's at each location, well, Tiffany has one here. We have a very nice scanning station here, and we will have those scanning stations available at all of our locations, hopefully at the beginning of the year, probably sometime before January. We have one-on-one technical training. And that, different locations do more of that. But if there's something, let's say you can't find the app and you just want to learn how to use the app, you could book a little time with one of the staff members and they can show you. Or you need a little help with Excel formulas. Book a little time with a staff member and they can help you with that. Just any number of things. It's really just one-on-one technical support. Meeting rooms. And this meeting room, some of you have probably been here for programs before, but this wall does retract, and it's a much bigger room. And it is one of the key features that made it very nice for staff to be in this building is that we have so many requests for meeting rooms, and we can say yes, because sometimes we can't say yes just because our rooms are booked with public programming. Again, creative aging and story times and all the other things. We do put those in the calendar first, but then after that, it's available to the public. Study rooms, I'm so sorry, we don't have any study rooms at this location, but we're working on it. But we do have study rooms at, I want to say, all of our other locations. We just opened up the one study room at Central since Milton. We just opened one of them this week. We've been without paint and carpet and everything, but we're making a lot of progress, and so that's really good. But we do have study rooms. Those are free, just bookable online, using something very similar to that event management system. Maker spaces and workshops we talked about. Does anyone have any questions about the kind of things you do in those? One of the things they do here that we don't do in most locations are sewing classes, which I should probably take advantage of. But it kind of depends on what the staff is comfortable with and what kind of training they've gone through and what kind of equipment we put in the makerspace. But we're open to anything. We don't try and pigeonhole any of these spaces. Here and at Central, we have recording booths. So you can do your podcast. In fact, Allison already did her recording at a booth at County Administration, but I did offer up this space for her in case it was helpful for another project she's working on. And at every location, we have printing, copy, fax, and scan. 10 cents a page for black and white, 50 cents for color, and then faxing and scanning is free. So it's, yes. You did do it here? Good job. I thought you were going to do that with Casey where he is, but I'm glad you did it here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's really good. She was in the video. And the other thing that we offer is museum and attraction passes. You can book that for dates that you're interested in going to a facility, and it's either there for free or at a discounted rate. And we're always trying to add attraction passes. These facilities are often pleased to put a couple passes in a library's lending collection, just because it gets people in the door, and you still have to go through the gift shop. So I have been to the Bishop more than once, and that is some gift shop. The books and more, so yes, print books. We love print books. And again, getting back to the research we talked about earlier about reading for joy, we also know that some print reading gives you a little bit more retention long term. That doesn't mean I'm not a format of opportunity. I will read whatever it comes in. Large print, regular print, ebook, audiobook, whatever it is. But so we have ebooks, audiobooks, physical books. We have a library of things, the pressure washers to ukuleles. And that, it sounds like very much a modern thing, but there was it called The Library Book about Los Angeles? Red cover, Susan Orlean. But anyway, they were talking, it's a book I read evidently a while ago, that in the late 1800s, they were lending out tennis rackets and things like that. So it's not something, it sounds new, but it's really not. It is just about access, getting back to library services. It's about access. And I'm sorry, that is a double there, museum and attraction passes. I'm saving Beanstack for last because that is something that's relatively new. Beanstack is a reading tracker, essentially. And we implemented it, we launched it right before summer learning program, because the nice thing about Beanstack is that it helps families track minutes read. And we've had an uptick in our summer learning program participation. I think it's because of Beanstack, but I think it's also because staff have been getting back to the community engagement team. We've been able to get out in the community more and remind people that there's a summer learning program. Beanstack is something the school district uses as well. We are in early conversations about connecting our systems. So there could be reading lists from the school district that show up on our profile as well. And anytime a kiddo would read the title and log it in our profile, it would also show up in their school profile. But that is only about the reading list. It's not anything else about the school records. Any questions about that before I move on? Yes.
What would you recommend as far as being staffed and tracking? Because I have a group of middle schoolers, mostly 6th and 7th grade, and they have all promised me they'll read at least 50 books this summer. And Beanstack would be a way of tracking that?
Yes, it would. So,
okay. And they have, I found out some of them don't have library cards. We're taking care of that before school starts. Okay. So Beanstack would be an appropriate program for them to
track their reading. Absolutely, absolutely. And are they in the public school district?
Yes.
Their student ID should serve as a library card.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Thank you.
No, but that's okay. 2 cards is better than none, so, and we're fine with that. But it should, and in fact, the conversation I've been having is with Kevin Chapman about connecting our Beanstack profiles together. But no, we can talk more about that. Okay. All right. Something else we offer. We have is, we don't just have reference librarians, we have do-it-yourself reference. We have databases, we have something called Databases A to Z, and really it is a roster of all of our databases. And you can get to it from the front page of our library page within the county, and it's Research and Learn, and it will take you to the list of all of our databases. And we have to group them by subject and literally A to Z because there's so many of them. But there is a search bar at the top so that you can look through that. I highly recommend it. There's so much in there. I don't get into LinkedIn Learning enough, but that's a great resource for learning things. Classes at the library, getting back to the leisure learning. And I think one of the things that we are going to be doing with the leisure learning is hobby farming. So I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but they're going to do, I know, right? Someone was very excited about that. At LinkedIn Learning, which I just talked about, we have a historical digital archive. So, and that is a lot of local history. So to demonstrate that, I was putting this slide together, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to pull something up. And I just randomly went to our database and put in Anna Maria. And I found this postcard. And this is from 1915. Some of these postcards are just beautiful. They're frameable. And then I thought, well, so is the back. So I brought out the back. So this is a postcard that we have in our archive. And there's so many images. I really encourage you just to look through, just to help you love your community, because you will be charmed by what you find. And within that also, we have a neighborhood histories. And that is something I know that Deb and her team are aware of, but please, because it will have not just local and relevant new information, but it will have the old images as well. This is what this intersection looked like way back in the day before there was a railroad crossing or something like that. On top of that, we do have some genealogy resources. Most of those are at the Central Library. And there are some online resource that you can use in-house. You have to be on site. It's locked to be on site. Those are kind of pricey, so they do try and restrict that. But if you need more reference assistance with genealogy, once you've gotten the bug, I guess you don't need that kind of assistance. You just do it yourself because you are the expert. They can help you with finding resources too. So getting back to the kids. So again, from this digital archive, this looks so vintage, but this was 1990. That makes me feel kind of old, but isn't it adorable? So summer learning program is clearly not a new thing. And we also, and that is 2 months in the year, certain number of minutes. We encourage kids to read. They book it in Beanstack, and there's programs to support that. And what we're trying to do is avoid the summer slide, which I know you probably, what you're trying to accomplish with your reading list. And we know that kids that keep reading through the summer, they not only avoid the slide, they may actually advance because they're reading for pleasure. And then they're just ahead of the game when they get back to school in the fall. And we're part of a really robust literacy environment here in Manatee County, but we're really proud to do our part with summer learning program. And the other part that is at least pre-literacy or before kindergarten is 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. It's a little program, 1,000 books, you book it in the Beanstack app, and then there are pictures and prizes along each milestone. And 500 books before middle school is another, just like it sounds like. Again, track it in the Beanstack app. And again, prizes, pictures, pride, you're reading. And just 500 books is an indicator of how well the kids are going to be doing in school. Those 3 items, those 3 top ones, I do have to give a shout out to the Library Foundation because they support us with that. We have terrific support from the county, terrific support from each friends group. Each location has a friends group. And if you're not involved in that already, I encourage you to do that. But the Library Foundation funds most of those 3 programs. These 3 items, those 4 items, toys, early literacy, the children's catalog, and story times. Those are a lot of things that are handled through that youth services team that I talked about earlier. So that is the purview of those, although the children's catalog was a collaboration with that technical services team. And often, I think people don't know how we buy books. This is actually a slide that we pulled from our internal staff training, but I thought this might be interesting for you all. How do we buy books? How do we select books? There's a couple ways to do it, but the best way for a library system our size is to centralize it. And then it would require 3 full-time people to do that. Right now we have 2.5, but we're working on that extra half person. And that ensures that we are staying ahead of the trends, not finding out last minute about forthcoming books, that we know that the Patterson's coming out, that we know that there's a brand new Suki Stackhouse book. There's not really, but just in case. See, we wouldn't want to miss that. We would not want to miss that. So we need to stay ahead of the game. So they read journals, they stay engaged with websites and blogs, just to understand what's going on in the publishing environment. And we have some things called standing orders, and that is travel books, things like that, things that we know are going to update all the time. So we buy these books all the time. We have a nice collection development budget. We buy, but we still have the same size footprint. So we need to remove some materials. Sometimes they are just outdated. Alaska, yes or no. Sometimes they're damaged, and that is almost a self-weeding collection. If something is that popular, it's falling apart, we cannot keep it. We have to buy a new one. Respect the story, buy a new one. And sometimes the things are just a miss. Like we think, it got great reviews, everyone was gonna love it, no one read it. No one read it. It just stayed on the shelf. And we do need to determine when things earn their place on our shelf. When I say that, we do believe in all the books, right? And we keep them all if we could. But sometimes if something's only going to be used by one person every 5 years, it probably doesn't belong on the shelf. But we will get it for you through interlibrary loan. So that helps fill the gap. We will borrow materials from other library systems and from academic institutions as well. So if we don't have it, we'll try and find it, and most of the time we can. So that is the interlibrary loan, and then, ebooks. If we don't have it in print, we may very well have it in ebook, and that goes for magazines as well. And I should have put Press Reader in here. Has anyone used Press Reader? Yes, yes. Press Reader is a really nice service, and it helps us provide more newspapers and magazines than we have space for. So we do recommend that. And this is something that was new this summer. Again, talking about space. When those super popular books come out, everyone puts them on hold. And the holds list is disheartening. If you've ever been 86th on a list for a book that you just finished the previous one and you cannot wait, it makes you sad. But we realistically cannot buy one book for every hold. That's just not a sustainable way to do it. So what we do is we have a ratio. We have one title to 3 to 4 holds, depending on that. And we also lease books from one of our vendors. And then when that initial surge is over, we send them back. And they sell them to other library systems. I'm really not sure, but we can send them back. And the other thing that we've done, again, to keep that holds list down, to a turnover, a certain, number of days on average that you're waiting for a book. Currently, on average, it's 20 days. If you're looking at 86, I know sometimes the average is that Curious George is sitting on the shelf, but we do like to go for a nice average. But the Lucky Day collection are materials that are the most popular things, and they are not holdable. If you walk in the building and they're there on the display, it's your lucky day, you get to check it out, and you get to jump ahead of the line. But you do have to walk in a building to find it, and it does take you off the holds list. And that has helped bring some of those holds times down on those most popular things. And we do that with physical and ebooks. And here are some library numbers. So they kind of speak for themselves. That's a lot of collection use. And I'm not sure, is this page in the, no, we will update it. We will make sure you get those numbers. This one is? Okay, good. And taking those numbers and applying it using, has everyone seen a library value calculator where you plug in the number of books and everything, and then it gives you the value that the library gave to you that year? Like maybe I've checked out 70 books and I've gone to two programs. So it would math that out for me and say the library saved me this. So we took all of our usage numbers and plugged it into that calculator, and we came up with this enormous number of value that we were bringing to the community. And when you think about, again, a hardcover, a large print book, an ebook, an audiobook, room rentals, that all adds up there. So, pretty proud of that. But wait, there's more. So we talked about the bookmobile coming in the first calendar quarter of 2026, and we talked a little bit about the expansion and renovation of Rocky Bluff. This is not a sneak preview. This is the old building. I almost put the current plan, but then if it changed, I didn't want to break anyone's heart, so I'm sorry. But it's going to be really cool. I will say that we're planning on having a room, like a two-part room like this. Maybe not at this size, because we do want to lean into, more public space, but we want to have this kind of flexibility, because if you've ever tried to book a room at Rocky Bluff, it is impossible. It's so full. And here is a good cross-section of our bookmobile. And some library systems have kind of said it's a mobile library or it's a mobile lab. We like kind of old school things. It is a bookmobile. It has books. It also is a Wi-Fi hub, and it has a lot of electricity connectors, generator, all those things through here, so we can send it out to storm areas if needed after storms. So, and especially after last season, we're really pleased that we put that in the design. So, and Again, it's very tall, and so ADA, there is a wheelchair lift, and there is room in there for a wheelchair to turn around. There's not room for 2 wheelchairs to pass each other, but we did what we could. And that is all I have about the library division. I'm sure I missed something. Yes?
You still have the interlocal with Sarasota County, right? So I can still use my card over there, right?
Yes and no. It's kind of a complicated environment. It's through the Tampa Bay Library Consortium. We don't have a direct relationship with Sarasota. It's through TBLC, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. As long as I can still use it in either county.
Yes, yes. We work well with Sarasota.
Other counties that I can use my Manatee card in?
Yes, and it is, I think, everything within the TBLC footprint, so Pinellas and Hillsborough, so anything that you can, and even Citrus. So if you can, yeah. The only downfall with that is that if you borrow something, say, from Citrus County, you're supposed to return it back to Citrus County. So sometimes if it's someplace outside of our area, interlibrary loan might be easier for you, but we'll do whatever works best for you.
Okay. One other quick question. With the e-press, is somebody reading the newspaper to you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you have them with just the editorials?
No, that
nobody delivers into Manatee County since COVID.
That is, I think we're going to have our team look into that because I cannot answer that right now.
Okay, because I basically was buying newspapers for the editorials.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and now since COVID, they don't deliver in this county anymore. The Tampa Bay Times will not deliver in Manatee.
Let's take a look at that. If nothing else, I'll leave my card with you. Yeah.
But, and will they do any, or only the area? 'Cause
For Tampa Bay, for the reciprocal?
Yes, for the e-press.
I will have to check into that. It's really, yeah. Or if you're going to stay for the tour and maybe after that, I'm not trying to put Tiffany on a spot, but maybe she could help too, so you get a more immediate response.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
So, I have a couple questions. Is there, on the library of things, so let's say I wanted to borrow a pressure washer, how long can you borrow it for? Because you don't really have that. You have a lot of ukuleles, but you don't have a lot of pressure washers.
I know. The pressure washers are a hot ticket, and those things break down. So I will say that when we're buying them now, we're buying them with warranty. But I'd have to check on the borrowing rule, honestly. Tiffany, yeah, it could be a week. Yeah, it's probably not as long. Is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks, thank you. I know.
So another question I have is, you mentioned something about outdated books. But so let's say that you do it, is there a collection for people to bring in books that they don't want? You mentioned something like that some group sells the books, but if they don't want them, you can get them recycled.
Sure. So sometimes people do donate newer books to us, and most of the time it's not cost effective to add them to the collection because we have to put all the cover and the stickers and all of those things on there. Sometimes it works though, so please keep us in mind. But often, and it's kind of a service that we give to the community too, sometimes if you've ever cleaned out a family member's home and you've come across all their books, you're like, what am I going to do with these books? And it's kind of an emotional moment. You don't want to throw them away. Often people will bring them to libraries. But a lot of the time, it's not really something we can add to the collection because it's a very specific collection, Danish cookbooks or something like that. So sometimes our friends groups will take them and they will sell them, but even they won't take everything. They just like newer, in really good condition, and in specific topic areas, because sometimes people just don't buy them.
So, but is there a place to recycle the books?
Oh, that is something we have to...
I used to have a friend in Wilmington, Delaware, who broke the bindings, took the paper and so that, because the paper was recyclable, and then so many pounds of paper, they got whatever kind of money for it, and then they used that to buy new books. So do we have anything like that?
I wish we did. We kind of take it by case. Paperbacks are a lot easier than hardbacks. And when I worked up in New England, we had someone with a saw in the basement that would cut off the bindings. And the hard covers weren't recyclable, but then all the pages could go and be recycled. So it's kind of something that everyone in libraries deals with a little bit about what to do with these items once they've reached their maximum and you just can't use them anymore. So, yes.
At Rocky Bluff, and you might be aware of it, but they do have the twice-a-year book sale where people will bring their books and their DVDs and their CDs in, and they do have a little section where some are put up for people to buy at reduced rates.
Yes.
So I don't know if other libraries do that.
Yes, every Friends group does it differently. Like here at Lakewood Ranch, they have a little shop and it's open all the time. At Central, there's a shop and they do sales. At Rocky Bluff, they have that kind of passive sale, and then the same with Palmetto. They have more of a passive. So it's different. Each group is an independent 501c3, so they do their work the way they want to, that is best for them. So we don't dictate those activities, but we love them because they give us support. All right, any other questions? I thought for sure Tiff or Allison were going to put me on the spot, but if not, that's okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for letting me drone on about libraries. I know I could probably talk about them too long, but thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. We are going to take, yes, Allison.
I have an answer to a question when I spoke. The Premier Pools will therapy and Olympic will have accessibility class. Thank you.
We are going to take a quick 5-minute break before we go on tour of the facility. So we will reconvene, I want to say, let's go with 11 o'clock. So thank you.